Hey everybody, it's On Screen Off Screen with the second episode with Josh, Colin, and myself. I think we have a lot of topics. Oh, no, we just have a lot of notes. I was
Yeah.
like, I looked over and I was like, wow, you have so many topics. And then I realized those were your notes. Uh, okay, I feel like, is this topic, Colin? This isn't your favorite movie, right? Of like the.
No.
Okay. Tell me
No.
about it.
Okay. This is one of the most interesting movie watching experiences I've ever had. Because I got to the end of the movie and I was like, I love that movie. That movie was great. And then I thought about it more and I was like, I don't really like that. I don't really like that. This is a movie that is almost unbelievably brilliant. Um, the basic premise is you have this girl who's kind of. She's
What's
living
the
a
name
fine
of
life.
the movie?
It's Me Before You. Me Before You is is the name. Basic premise: girl is kind of lost in her own life, and she gets the opportunity to take care of a very very rich family's son, who got into a car crash and his body is failing him. And like typical movie, they fall in love, and then it becomes really really sad at the end, and he dies. Like it's very typical that way kind of movie. But the connection between the two is very well done. I wish that they would have just stayed friends. I wish that they wouldn't have actually made this a romance. It would be a better movie. She's dating this guy who is Neville. Neville is the guy she's dating from Harry Potter, who looks like a completely different person. She's dating Neville, and they have a relationship that really isn't great. He's interested in things that she's not interested in. She's interested in things he's not
Because what
interested
is he
in.
running? What is he interested in, Condon?
He's in running. He was
Yeah,
interested in running.
nobody's interested in that. It's a terrible thing to be interested
But Josh is prejudiced against running. He has a prejudice. Anyway, this guy likes doing the big cross country events. Like he'll go and swim in the polar Arctic and then run and then all that kind of stuff. Iron Man type stuff. And she's not really into that. She kind of gives a little bit. He kind of gives a little bit. He doesn't really understand. He is a little bit narcissistic. She is a little bit not sure who she even is. And it's a relationship that really should have ended earlier, but didn't. The movie, she connects with this guy who is in a wheelchair better than she connects with her boyfriend. That's what you're seeing. The guy who's in the wheelchair takes care of her better, but he's also dying. And he knows that he's going to die because he wants to commit self-guided suicide. He's in a lot of pain. He'll wake up in the night screaming because he's in so much pain, and he just doesn't want to do it. I have somebody very close to me in my life that has promised that if it gets to a point where it's so bad and he asked me to, that I would do the same for him. And that was one of the hardest conversations that I have ever had to go through in my life. And this movie hit me hard because of that point. And I love the fact that it doesn't give you the answer. Is this self chosen, medically induced suicide? Is it wrong? Is it murder? Is it right because he's in pain? Is it his choice? Should he live for others? It doesn't answer that question. And that's what I love about this movie. The thing I don't like about the movie is he knows that he's going to commit suicide. Nothing is going to change it. This girl is trying to change it. He's trying to convince him that life is so good that it's worth living. Let's go to a horse race. Let's read books. Let's watch movies. Let's go to France. You want to go to France? Let's go to France. Let's live. But he's in so much pain that he's decided that no matter what, she could literally change the entire world. No matter what, he is going to leave this life. He doesn't want to live it anymore. He doesn't want to be the cripple. He doesn't want any of this stuff. So she's pushing and she's falling in love with this guy, and he's letting her fall in love with him, knowing that he's going to say goodbye. I didn't love that when they could have just stayed friends. The other thing I didn't like is there's this conversation that feels like her and her boyfriend should break up, but they don't. And then she goes on this trip with the guy in the wheelchair, and she cheats on her boyfriend. Why they didn't just have her break up, I don't know, because it would be a better movie. There's a lot of little things here and there that they could have just tweaked, and I would be going on here being like, this isn't my favorite romance movie, but this is number 2. That's literally where I was. But I thought about it, and I'm like, I can't get behind a couple of these little things that didn't need to be there. I'm still giving it a 7. I'm still going to get a 7. But it's so close to being like a 9. It's so close. It was heavily impactful on me. It really did make me think. I was heavily related to the movie. I can understand why people love this movie, and I can also understand why people hate this movie. Because it is a very divisive topic that they're exploring, and that you have to explore with them for this movie to really take you. And does that topic drown you, or does it lift you up? It's a hard topic. But a very worthwhile watch, because I think a lot of people have different opinions on whether this is good or not.
Josh, you had a few facial expressions during that.
Because I disagree with just about almost everything Colin just said.
Wow.
I don't think it explores that topic at all. It is something that does happen in the movie and does get you to think about it, but it's not something that they're addressing. It is just something that kind of happens, right? There is no doubt in your mind ever that he is going to go through it, right? There is no moral question. She is desperately trying to save him. He is desperately just stubborn. There's a lot that I think that you particularly missed, or at least that I saw in it probably differently, and that is that he is in pain, but he's not in as much pain when he's not lonely. And before he meets her, there's a lot of loneliness. And towards the end, there's not. And not just with her, with the medical professional providing for him. His parents become more accepting and loving of him, and are more open with him, and she is more involved in a lot of ways. She's more accepted into the family throughout the movie. Like, there's tons of research that goes into physical pain connected to loneliness.
Yeah.
And how it's so much worse when somebody's in this situation. I don't remember them ever saying he's going to die, or that he's dying. He was in a bad accident. He has a severe spinal injury. There is pain, but it's not like he's actively dying. It's not like he's cancerous.
The part where he's in the hospital.
And he wants to die.
It's where he's in the hospital and he has the 4th episode in 2 years, I think is what it says. And he's like, we barely kept him alive last time.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean he's dying, right? He fought off the infection. He still went on the trip. He's susceptible to death, I will give you that. But there's nothing actively killing him. He could hypothetically live a bubble life and live to a full age.
He could hypothetically live. That is
Right.
true. And maybe they should have shown more pain during the day. I can give you that.
Yeah. I think that this is far better than Conlon's last British romance movie. I think that it is good that they had the relationship. I think it is good that she didn't break up with Neville. And I think that is maybe something I'm a little bit biased about.
Okay.
But what I saw in that moment was her saying, if he dies, I don't want to be alone. And if she breaks up with him, and then the guy goes through with it anyway, she'll be alone. And that is a very human thing that women do all the time.
I disagree. I can see it being realistic, I guess. It doesn't mean I like it.
That's fair. I don't like it either. She should break up with him. She's not in love with him. He should break up with her. He's not in love with her.
But
Right?
it doesn't give an actual answer. Like at the end of the movie, she goes to Paris because that's what the guy in the wheelchair asked her to do, and her boyfriend isn't there.
Switzerland.
Are they still? Oh, is it Switzerland? I thought it was Paris.
Switzerland.
Switzerland. Okay.
Wrong Paris.
I swear it was Paris. Okay. Anyway, are they still together? Like, it actually doesn't really give an answer to that question.
I don't think it needs to. I think they are still together. Because
Okay.
I see that selfishness in her. I see that selfishness in her throughout the entire movie.
Interesting.
She wants to save him. She wants to give him a reason to live. When they get in that fight, who's that fight about? Is it actually about his decision and what he's going to do? Or is it because she feels bad that she didn't succeed? She's standing on there on the beach yelling about how she did everything she could and it wasn't enough and he should appreciate her more. She made that moment about her.
I agree with that, but
She's
he
a very
also
humanly selfish person.
knew that he was going to commit suicide and slept with her like 2 days before he's going to do this.
Yeah.
That's messed the hell up.
They should have slept together. In like 99% of the movies, I agree. They shouldn't sleep together. It's not plot relevant. I do like their romance. I do like that they fall in love with each other. I like the way that they fall in love with each other. I love that they're both giving and they're both taking at times. It is not just one way. It's a pretty good movie. I disagree with those couple of points that you made, and I think it does make you think about whether or not it's right or wrong, or okay or not. I think personally it's very clearly wrong, but you could make the argument that it's okay anyway, if that makes any sense. But that's not a topic that they explore. Like, that's just the thing that is pushing the plot forward.
What would have made it an exploration? Because I do think you're seeing how it impacts everybody. People are talking about it.
People are talking about it. He's not talking about it, and he has zero doubts, ever. So it's never a question to the person who's making the decision.
But it's a question to the viewer on whether it's correct.
Afterwards.
I don't think you have to go through the characters.
Is there any
characters'
debate about the
debate.
morality of it?
Yes.
No. When do characters debate the morality of it?
It brings up different talking points. Like the mom is like, "This is just murder. It's just murder," and then the doctor is like, "I don't really want it, but it's his choice." And then the girl's mom is like, "It's just murder." And then you have his mother that's concerned about him, that doesn't want him to go. But then you have his father that is like, "It's his choice. We need to love him."
Objection because she's morally opposed to it?
The only one that brings up a moral objection is the mother of the girl.
That is fair. It's also, I watched this a long time ago, but if I'm remembering right, it's like a 10-second scene.
It's a very short scene.
Yeah, it
So-
is not a theme of the movie to ask the question.
There's not
That
more
is my
discussion back and forth about it.
point, right? It's not like, it is a question that is asked to the viewer, right? You go out of it thinking about it because it's something
But
that happens in the movie.
they're not,
But it's not a theme
complimenting of it in the movie. They're not contemplating it in the movie.
Yeah.
There is a difference there. I'll give you that.
Okay.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so when you first ended the watch, it was higher, but then the more you thought about it, it went lower in your ratings.
Yeah. Because I do have some of those problems, and I still have some of those problems. I think I just... the guy, I get he doesn't want to be alone, and he's finding this girl attractive, but he's a very controlled person. He's a very self-guided person, and I don't think it makes sense for the character to... It feels like he uses her, in my opinion. And I don't think it needed to go that part. You could have a friendship that blossomed into something a little bit more, but I don't like where it ends up. It feels... It doesn't feel honest.
I disagree with that because I don't think he uses her at all.
It feels very used to me. But that's
He says he doesn't want to do it.
But then he does,
Yeah,
and he doesn't.
She pushes
He's not. He's not honest with her until the very, very last minute.
Is it important that he's honest with her? Does that not count for anything?
It counts for something, but literally, it's like the day before, and he's just being honest with her because he's like, "Hey, guess what? We just went on this great romantic vacation. We've been falling in love for months. I just forgot to tell you this thing. Like, I'm gonna die, and there's literally nothing you can do about it. Nothing at all.
Like,
Thanks for everything that you
did.
did.
Also, not a first date
But
conversation.
no, this isn't. It's been months of every single day, all day long, constantly talking. I liked this movie so much. I literally got up and was like, "Bravo!" I literally clapped. That is how much I liked this movie when I stopped.
So, at what point should he have disclosed it? You say it was months. I'll take your word for it. I do know that there was a period where he was pushing her away and not interacting with her.
Yeah.
So, at what point should that have been disclosed?
The horse race.
Why then, when that was their first date?
That wasn't their first date.
What was their first date?
They went to like a dance thing. Actually, I'm mixing up the two. It was the dance thing where it should have been. It's not the horse race. The dance thing is where they should have talked.
Okay, so they go to his ex's wedding, and they dance, and he finally, for the first time, relaxes, and she finally has a good time with him. And you think that that's the moment to say, hey, by the way, not to be a downer or anything, but I'm going to die.
Yeah.
Okay.
I watched this a while ago, and I thought that like she knew he wanted this planned, but they were pushing it out, and he agreed to push it out, and then she thought that that was so she knew the whole time, but ignored it and
So she
put the thing on her mind. She's like, oh well, I'm going to change his mind from that, but he never said that the deal was change my mind in these 3 months. She put that in her head that she's like, oh, these are my 3 months to change his mind to live. But he's like, no, I just said that I'll live 3 months more, or however long.
in my opinion, he should have told her that sooner. And maybe the dance isn't exactly where it should have happened, but he has months, and they're in love not for a short period of time, but he makes out with her, sleeps with her, talks about wanting to do stuff to her, but can't because he can't move, and then he dies. Or even when they go up on top of the castle and he's talking about trying to help the father out and help the family out, which is still before this event. Like, there's a lot of opportunities where where they were close enough that he could have said, you know, I see what you're doing. I'm not a dumb person. I can see you're trying to help me live, and I appreciate it so much.
He doesn't know that she knows.
I do not remember the movie
That's
well
true.
enough.
She overhears his mom
talking about it with the dad.
So it's not her idea; it's her mom's idea. His mom has the idea: if I hire an attractive girl and they fall in love, he will decide to live. He had the deal with his parents to live longer, not her.
Yes, 6 months with his parents is what he said,
His
and he
mom
goes
and
to
dad
6 month
were
mark.
fighting over it, and she overheard. That's how she found out he was planning on dying. That's how she got it in her head that that's what she was supposed to do. All that kind of stuff. So, Conlon, I agree with you that he should have told her sooner. I also know that that's an extremely difficult conversation to have. And you're saying 3 months? Like, it takes me 3 months to admit to my depression or anxiety to a romantic partner. Like, that is such a more significant degree, it doesn't bother me. And I also don't think that because he didn't tell her that makes it using her.
I do.
Did he manipulate her into it? Did he push her into it? Did he persuade her into it? Or did he fight it all along the way?
He fought it until he stopped fighting, and then he connects with her, he falls in love with her, and he just leaves it till the very, very end. Talk about procrastination, if that's what we want to call it.
I agree with you that he should have told her sooner. Morally, he should have told her sooner. But that doesn't make it using her, because he wasn't trying to fall in love with her. He was fighting it. He wanted him out of his life. He fought it all along the way. When he was falling in love with her, he still was fighting the physical stuff and was trying to push her away because he knew what he was going to do. Intent matters when you say something like, he's using her.
Yeah, I think it's more of like, since he held on to it so long, it was kind of more of a selfish motive of like wanting to hold on to something, but not a manipulative motive. But yeah. Anyway, I think we just keep circling around the same topic. So let's go to Josh, one of your topics.
My first topic is pretty quick. It is Richard Hammond's Workshop. This is a show I had to go sailing for because it's not available in the US. And I don't know why. I cannot think of it. It's made by Discovery Channel. It was bought by Amazon Prime. And they just say, we don't want it to be available in the US. There's licensing issues. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, why wouldn't Discovery Channel push this to the US? And I cannot think of it. I have zero reasoning as to why they wouldn't want this show in the US. It's a lot more in line with what people in the US watch. It's a show about a guy who owns a car shop, and he's struggling with the business side of it, and he's going on adventures, and he's fixing cool cars. And there are dozens of those shows on the History Channel. This is a named person. This is Richard Hammond. This is Top Gear's Richard Hammond. They have a selling point in the United States. And they just don't. And it really got me thinking a lot about Clarkson's Farm. Because, like, that was a much bigger swing. The budget is bigger. The branding is bigger. And, like, I think that, okay, with Richard Hammond's Workshop, I get that, hey, you know, there's already a dozen of those shows in the US. Maybe we don't push it over there. But, like, they're actively stopping it coming to the United States. And after the success of Clarkson's Farm, what excuse could you possibly have not to give it to us? Because I'll tell you right now, this is my favorite version of one of those shows.
Really?
Yeah. Is it the most cohesive? No, it's not. In a lot of those shows, they have a project, they show it being worked on, they show it getting finished. This one is all over the place. It is a jumbled mess. You don't often get to see the finished product of some projects that they talk about doing.
That would
Like,
piss me off.
They're small
so
projects.
Much.
They're painting a spoiler. They're doing whatever. Like, it's never anything big. They show the big projects. But you have the personality of Richard Hammond and his business partners. And he starts a racing team, and they go racing. Like, it's unique enough because of the outside the job kind of stuff about the show. I don't comprehend it. I literally cannot fathom why now Amazon is not letting people in the United States watch Richard Hammond's Workshop.
That's bizarre. I don't know.
I cannot think of it.
That doesn't make any sense.
To me, it's a 7 out of 10 show because it is kind of juggling. There's a lot going on. but it also feels more genuine to, like, Conlon. If you watched it, I'm sure you would relate a lot to the struggles of starting and running a business. Like, that is the main focus of the show. And there's a lot of juggling. And, like, the cars aren't the main part of the show. It's about the business itself. And I really like that. But it does make some incohesion. There is some, like, weird stuff they do. It's not, like, the most best version of the show, but it is my favorite because I watch these kind of shows for the people. And the people in it are all really awesome.
Cool.
There's Richard Hammond, his business partner's son. There's an accountant who comes in and yells at Richard Hammond basically every episode because Richard keeps spending money without making money. And, you know, take it from somebody who owns a shop. When you own a shop, I don't anymore, but when I did, people come to you and be like, hey, can you do this thing for me, you know, for free? Like, and they guilt you into it, and you do it anyway. And the entire time you're like, why am I doing this? I'm not even making any freaking money from this stupid project, and I don't even get to see it all done. And but he keeps doing it, and he keeps getting sucked into these stories. And then his wife comes into play, and they, like, the business grows, and it's a really cool thing. I'm giving it a 7 because it's still entertaining. It is a different look on this kind of a show. I don't know why I'm not allowed to watch it.
Bizarre.
Yeah, Jeff Bezos, why can't we watch it?
For real, like, they bought the rights to it. Amazon owns it right now. Why don't they put it on Prime? I don't know. It is crazy. It's a good show. It's entertaining. It's good. It's fun. It's positive. I'm gonna be straight with you guys. There's like 5 seasons out right now. Or 4. I have been working on Blender and have watched partway up to through season 4. Like, I have been constantly watching this show. I've been liking it. Put it on Prime. Let the people enjoy it like me, because it's good.
People.
Just find a way to watch it, people. Screw them and their stupid issues. It's a good show. It's worth watching. Conlon, like I said, I think you would particularly like the business end of it and how to do that. Lauren, they do a lot of creative stuff, and there's an entire season based on animals, and that's all I'll say. But like, cool. It's good. It's a good quality show. It's positive. It's clean. It's good.
Cool.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting that, like, I also had to go to the high seas for one of our topics this week. So it's really funny because I have like the same argument of like, why? Like, in this day and age, why are you keeping things from me?
I would understand if there was like a conflict, right? But there's no conflict between Richard Hammond and the United States. There's no conflict in car shows with the United States. Discovery Channel is based in the United States. And they're like, we're going to produce this show, and it's only going to be available in Europe. Sucks to be the rest of you guys.
I'm mad at you for some reason. Particularly
I want to watch
you.
that kind of show. You would get my views. You would get my money. Let me watch it.
All right, let's go. My topic. So I remember watching this movie. This movie is called San Andreas. And I remember watching this movie when I was in high school with my family. And I realized that me and my family would go and watch, like, I can't remember if it was just like this year they had like a whole bunch of like natural disaster movies. But that's like what I felt like me and my family would go watch for bonding time. And then like we would always have like discussions afterwards, like, okay, so if there really was like this earthquake, this is what we're gonna do, and this is what you do, and everything. And it was really funny because San Andreas is a movie about the San Andreas fault line, like creating this 9.2 earthquake, which is insane and would be the biggest recorded earthquake in history. And right after we watched this, there was a 4.0 in the epicenter of like the epicenter was in my town, and my town is only a mile wide. So I remember getting bounced off of my couch because like with an earthquake it goes like up, down, and then to side to side. So like I got thrown off my couch and I like landed on the ground and I was like, what was that? Like in my mind, it took me a couple of seconds to realize it was an earthquake. I was like looking around to see if somebody like bounced me off my couch, and then I realized there was an earthquake, and I was like crab walked underneath my kitchen table because we had like our couch was right next to our living room, so I just like got on all fours and just crawled under the table. And then I remember my like dad running out in his underwear, and I was like, "That was more traumatizing." I was like, "Please go back and get dressed. I'm fine." But anyway, for this movie, uh, it's so inaccurate in so many ways. But this movie walked so that we could have Superman run in the moment where his dad's like at the tornado and he's like shaking his head, you know? There's this scene where this guy is running on the Hoover Dam, and there's like all of these earthquakes are going off, and it's like cracked the dam, and the dam's about to blow. And this guy's running, and then he sees this little girl off to the side, so he stops, runs back, grabs the girl, and runs. And the very last second, of course, it like drops and he tosses the girl to somebody, and they catch the little girl and they turn back to him, and there's a rebar in his foot, but it's stuck the wrong way. So I was like, how did this rebar get through his foot? And then he's just sitting there staring at them for like literally like 30 seconds. I was like, you could have pulled your foot out of the rebar, army crawled your way to safety, but instead he stands there and he's like, look away. And they just keep staring at each other for like 30 more seconds before the water takes them out. And I was like, that was so needless. And like, you have this thing going off in Nevada because they're like, oh, there's all these little earthquakes that are going to set off San Andreas over here. And so they're in San Francisco. You have The Rock, who has his wife who's trying to divorce him for Mr. Fantastic, and his daughter. And the wife and the daughter go to San Francisco with the stepdad, who ends up getting like lost immediately, and then all of these horrible things just keep happening to the stepdad, and nobody cares and nobody asks where he is the entire movie. But we keep going back to him to just see how all these horrible things happening to him, because apparently you're supposed to not like him because The Rock is better. And he's like this rescue person, and so he goes and he rescues his ex-wife off of the top of this building, and he's like, we're gonna find our daughter. And like the daughter ends up being stuck with this guy and his little brother, and she's like, my dad's a fire and rescue person, so I know how to tap into radio stations and how to like survive and all of these things, and we're gonna have to get to the highest level of ground because of an earthquake. And like a lot of the effects are cheesy. The storyline was like, let's just keep putting people in dumb situations so we can have the worst happen, because then the tsunami hits and it makes it to the top of this hill in San Francisco and up 20 floors and then just stays that way for forever. And it's like, I don't know that would be possible, but okay. And she drowns in the building, but of course The Rock saves her, finds her,
Of course.
saves her, yeah. And it was just like so many things that was like going on. I was like, I can't believe that I thought that this was accurate when I was a kid. And now I'm just watching it. I was like, it's not how any of this works. It's not how no. And then like at the very
No.
and at the very end, like everything's destroyed and they're looking over and oh, something that just bothered me was the whole time the mom's like, where is she to the rock? And he's like, she's smart. I know where she'll go. The entire time, but they keep going to all these different places and she's not there. And then at the very end, everything's destroyed, and she's like, "What do we do now?" And he's like, "We rebuild." And then it ends. It's so dumb. Yeah, I rewatched this movie just because like I remembered watching it with my family, and it like brought up like a lot of like how to be prepared when natural disasters strike and stuff, and I was just like, these were supernatural disasters though. So, I would probably. I'm not gonna watch this movie again. I'm putting it as a 4.
You're laughing. It sounds like you had such a good time with it, though. And it sounds way better than 2012.
It is way better than 2012.
I was gonna say, have you seen it?
Yeah. I have a soft spot for this movie, and I don't know why, because it is a bad movie, but I like it anyway. I enjoy this movie, but it's a bad movie. It is a bad, enjoyable movie.
Yeah, I was just like, because there's at the very first scene is this girl like careening off this cliff in her car, but her car barely has any dents.
Yeah.
And it's like sailing off and then like nose dives into this thing, and it's not even crumpled in the front. And I was like, no airbags went off. Like she's like, none of the glass was even broken, and then she like wakes up with like a couple scrapes and stuff, and she's like wedged in this little. So dumb. I would
It's
watch it if somebody else is like, let's watch it, and I would hate watch it with them.
Would you
Every
ever
once-
suggest to hate watch it with somebody?
What?
Like, I haven't seen it. Would
I would
ever
hate
be
watch
like,
it with you.
Hey, I know what we should watch.
But I wouldn't be like, this is the greatest movie of all time. I would be like, want to see this crap?
Hey, it's still a suggestion.
So
Every-
yeah.
Every once in a while, I get in the mood to watch Independence Day, because I legitimately actually like that movie. And when I watch that one, it gets me wanting to watch other disaster movies, and this is one of them that I usually will watch when I watch Independence Day.
Yeah, I think this was my last time watching it, unless I'm watching it with somebody who'd be like, let's watch it. So I'm gonna say a 5. Because I did admit to rewatching it, that I would rewatch it. But it's not on any like disaster rewatches for me.
Fair enough. That is completely fair. It's not a great movie.
It was just so funny because I remember it being so much better when I was younger, and then rewatching it, I was like, oh wow, at least now I have taste. Oh, but with that, let's go on to your second topic, Colin.
So this one's gonna be really quick. This is a terrible movie. This like it. I have not finished a movie in a really long time, but I got halfway through it and I was like, I can't watch this movie. I can't do it. This is so stupid. It is the dumb funny that some people like. It is like Austin Powers or whatever. But good criminy. Oh, ugh. There's one part of the movie that I do kind of like where Liam is taking tickets and he's punching out the bad guys. So it's like number 40, number 41, number 42. And that part actually made me chuckle a little bit. The rest of the movie, I was like, why did anyone like this? How do people have a brain? Do people have a brain? And I thought it was awful. And I will not watch it again. And that single joke gives it a 1. Otherwise, I would give this a 0. I thought this was a train wreck of a movie.
So why did you watch it?
Because I have a bunch of friends that told me it was great. Like a lot of people told me this movie was great.
Are these trusted friends? Just kidding.
Did they, for whatever
Normally,
reason, like the old one?
yeah, they did. Which I've never seen the old one. I've never seen the old Naked Gun.
It's
it's bad. It's a bad movie. I will not watch the old one. I am not.
I'm
I don't
like,
think anyone should be the target audience for this movie. This is a dumb movie.
it makes me sad because I saw one scene online that I thought was funny, where like it was a sting operation for I think Liam, and then like the walls like fall down, and she's like, "We got him," and then he's like, "Oh yeah, so you just like doing this because of this, and that," and she's like, "No, actually," and like confesses to breaking a law of something, and then more walls fall down, and we're like, "We got her." It was like it just like kept going, and it was
Oh,
like
I didn't see that.
the Monty Python funny of when he's running up the hill and he just keeps running up the hill is what it reminded me of. But
I mean, there's a few things where I'm like, maybe someone could find this funny, but there's a part where Pamela Anderson is trying to distract the main bad guy by being all seductive, which partly this is a me thing where I'm like, that worked when you were 25, but doesn't work nearly as well anymore. You're kind of old. But she distracts the person by going up and singing jazz music, and it is the most annoying thing I've ever heard. She gets up and she's like, yeah, 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 yeah. Whoa, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. It's awful. I can't describe how bad it is. And I was like, I can't do this. I
Can't
cannot.
imagine it being worse than what I just saw you do.
It was worse. It was awful.
I don't know about that.
I literally was listening. I was like, it's still going on. It's been like 5 minutes. What are you people doing? And I couldn't. I turned off the show. I could not keep watching this. It is awful. Awful. Ugh.
so one.
One. Awful. Awful movie.
Okay, yeah, I didn't have high hopes for that movie, but I saw that one scene and thought it was funny. I was like, oh, maybe. But then it sounds like what I expected it to be.
Maybe if you like dumb comedies, I don't know. No,
I don't think that type of dumb comedy, because I did not like Austin Powers and stuff like that. So,
I don't either.
except I do like when he's trying to turn around in that tiny little hallway. I think that's funny.
The biggest movie disagreement that me and my wife have is based on one of the Austin Powers movies. She likes one of them, and she's an intelligent person, and I think she just has like a part of her brain that has brain damage for that one
Oh my
movie
gosh.
because it is awful.
People can have different opinions.
No, this movie, I tried to watch it. It's awful. I don't even want to remember the name. I'm trying to program all of that movie out of my brain because it is awful.
All right, with that, Josh, you have a second topic.
Yeah, this should be another really quick one. It is Amazon's Countdown. I have been anticipating the last episode of Dark Wolf, but it didn't come out till super late last night, so I've been biding my time with Countdown. Stars Jensen Ackles. It's an action movie or show, just like all of them. This is probably the most mediocre one I've ever seen. I would compare it very much to Jack Ryan. There's some stuff it does really well. There's some stuff that it doesn't do all that well. There's not a lot of things tying into each other. There is a lot of, look at Jensen Ackles and how attractive he is when he does this thing. Okay, now we'll go look at the other characters for a second. But look at Jensen Ackles! He's got long hair and he has
I'm
to
sold.
back. It's a fine show. There's nothing really like super wrong with it. It is just another one of these shows. Its twist is Jensen Ackles has brain cancer and only has a few months to live. So he is trying to take out as many bad guys along the way, but in doing so is causing severe danger to his coworkers. So like the basic premise is there's a task force that is formed and the leader of the task force has brought in the most antagonistic people in each department. So there's 2 people from the FBI, there's 1 CIA person there, and then there's these 2 LA detectives. One is Jensen Ackles and another one, and they're just like every department's like, what's that show Conlon really likes? Lethal Weapon kind of person, where they're just reckless and go out there and like all this kind of stuff. But just Jensen Ackles is the main character, and you very quickly learn that the reason he's so reckless is he has brain cancer, he's going to die, and he's trying to fight bad guys and ignore it as much as possible. The funniest thing is it's a plot point that like he's not taking his meds because then he wouldn't be able to go undercover and fight crime. But the only side effect is he has a moment 3 times in each episode where he goes, and somebody goes, "Are you okay?" And he goes, "It's just a headache." And then they move on.
Yeah, I watched 2.5 episodes of this when it first came out, and my thought was, and then I think it was 2.5, and I got called to do something. Like I had to leave the house to do something, so I didn't finish an episode, and it was so meh that I forgot to finish the episode. And I was just kind of like, it's not bad. It was totally like, meh.
It's not bad at all. It is filling that kind of thing that I was looking for because I wanted to finish Dark Wolf. It's fine. Would I rather watch this or Jack Ryan? I think it would depend on the day.
I like Jack Ryan better than this.
I think there are times where Jack Ryan's really good, like season 1. But if you compared this to like season 2 or 3 of Jack Ryan,
I still like this better. But I still like Jack Ryan better.
I just think it's really funny the pipeline of like popular actors to these type of like seasonal shows. Because you have Jim from The Office, you have Chris Pratt, and then you have now Jensen Ackles.
it's because it works. It's a good formula, right? And when it's not overly complicated, there's not a lot of plot holes. Like, I haven't finished it, but there's nothing in it that I'm like, oh, they just stepped on their own toes, that's a plot hole, I have an issue with that, right? There's no, like, big romances to screw up, there's no cheating, there's no this or that extra storyline just to add drama. It's like, hey, do you want to see an action movie with some cool action sequences and some pretty subpar plot on top of it?
Yeah.
With the exception of Terminalist, because that one is just awesome, but like, it just works. You've got Reacher, Jack Ryan, Dark Wolf, this one, like, you're absolutely, like, Amazon is absolutely pushing this, like, we need more of this.
Yeah.
And it makes sense, because it works. It's a good time.
Yeah. Well, speaking of other good times, our shared topic is a Goofy movie. I see that you have your thoughts written out, Colin, so why don't you start?
A Goofy movie is underrated, in my opinion. I know everybody likes the Goofy movie. Everybody should freaking love the Goofy movie, and it should be higher on everyone's list. I think this movie is fantastic. I said everyone should watch Sideways video on this movie because it's really interesting. Sideways is a channel that goes over music theory and essay of music theory, and he doesn't do anything anymore, which is a shame because this stuff was great. And he talks about how this movie breaks conventions by like having the father and son relationship be a typical romantic relationship that's shifted just a little bit. So like when they have the father-son song, it is a typical like Disney romance song, but it's about a father and a son coming together and connecting and being one. Like there's so many different levels to the way this is musically done. visually performed. It's fun. The characters are vibrant. It is genius. This movie is genius. I love all the side levels. I love the goofy aspects of it. I love the world that they're a part of. The romance with... He's this goofy kid, and he has this crush, and the idea of displaying what a crush is like is done better in this movie than anything else I can think of. I love it. I love everything about this movie. It is fantastic. Bravo, Disney. Everybody who hasn't seen this, watch this freaking movie.
Okay, Josh, your thoughts?
People like Conlon are going to tell you this movie's underrated. And Conlon's wrong. As per usual, I'm the voice of reason and logic here. This is a really good movie. It really is. But is it underrated? No. It's got a 4.8 out of 5.
How many
IMDb
top
has
lists
it
do you
as a
see
7
this
out of 10.
thing have?
It doesn't belong on top 10 lists.
You
There
don't
are people who
think
put
so?
it around 10. I would put it right around Aladdin in terms of quality. That's just where I'm at.
So good.
If I stop looking at analytically, on my list it goes even lower, especially after rewatching it this last week.
Really?
Yeah. There are some things that particularly stood out to me that really, really bothered me, and that's how Goofy treats Max.
Okay.
I don't have a great relationship with my father, and there's a lot of similarities there, and it drove me up a wall. It drove me insane. If you look at Sideways, looking at this movie, or The Therapist and Cinema Therapy, when they
was
talk
also
about
very
the
good.
movie, they've talked about how it's a balancing act, and how, Max does this wrong, and then Goofy does this wrong, and then, they grow together through these wrongs. But Goofy never respects Max, and it is the initial driving force that absolutely drives me up a wall. It is the fact that Goofy just decides to do this thing last minute and has zero respect for Max's time. Zero. He doesn't even ask, "Do you have plans today?" He just rips him out of his life and makes him go on this trip. On a very personal level, I've been in 3 arguments in my entire life, and one of them was when my dad had zero respect for my time or plans, and just last minute said, "This is what's happening." So that struck a very particular chord with me, where I was like, Goofy is in the wrong in this. And Max is in the right for still wanting to live his life. And so for me personally, I dropped this movie down. I see a lot of the quality. I think the music is really great. I do love them coming together. There's a lot of really good aspects of this. I think it's properly rated.
Out of 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't see any 7. I see a 7 out of 10 on IMDb, but on Rotten Tomatoes it's got like an 80%. On Google it's got a 4.8 out of 5. So yeah, I'm gonna say it's properly rated. I would give it a 7.5 because of my personal reasons. If I looked at it analytically, I would give it maybe an 8.5. So yeah, I would say properly rated. It's no better than Aladdin. I think most people end up putting this in their around 10, and I think that's totally valid and fair.
I just can't think of another movie that's like it. Like, you don't have a father-son relationship movie. There's just not a lot of them. And this is it's just very unique. There's nothing else quite like Goofy. and it's
Pursuit of
done
Happiness.
really, really well. That's not a father and son coming together movie. That's a different situation. That's not a my teenager is rebelling. We have to figure out how to understand each other kind of movie. They do that with teenage girl movies like uh, Parent Trap.
To Kill a Mockingbird.
I guess that one. Parent Traps, the Switch one, there's quite a few. How the heck is Catch Me If You Can that?
The whole relationship between Leonardo DiCaprio and his father. Rewatch the movie. The Lion King, Indiana Jones, The Last Crusade.
Lion King is two people that already understand each other. It's not a rebellious teenager. It is a kid and his father, but that's a different kind of movie too.
He absolutely is a rebellious teenager.
He's a silly kid that makes some mistakes. This is an actively rebellious teenager. It's a very different thing. Lauren, do you think those are the same at all?
Is being a rebellious teenager.
I would have said that Simba was being rebellious because he like goes to the hyenas and like goes to his uncle and he's like going against what his dad says. It's like when you're like, "Hey mom, can I go?" Because dad says no. Like trying to get different things. It's like I don't think. Well, and I don't think that Max is like. I think Max and Simba are very similar because it's just like that point in life where you're like testing boundaries and you're trying to figure out what it is for you. So I think it's very similar. I think of like rebellious teenager being like more extreme, whereas I think Goofy thought he was a rebellious teenager because like when I watched it, I kind of had the exact same thought, except I kind of blamed it on the principal because he calls up Goofy and is telling him that his son's going to be put in the electric chair. Like, he blows it way out of proportion. And like the thing that I fault Goofy for is not having a conversation with Max and being like, "Hey, what happened at school today?"
Zero respect for Max. That's my whole thing. Is
Yeah.
Zero respect. None.
Yeah.
He listens to his boss before he even has a conversation with Max.
Yeah. So that's what I was finding because I hate miscommunication tropes. And this whole movie, I was like, just talk to Max. Like really talk to him. Because like there's been times like in my life that I remember my brother moved out. He was like 19, but he moved out of my dad's house. My dad's like, "I thought we were talking," and I was like, "Oh, we had like talks that were guided by you, but you didn't ask my brother like anything personal." And so like I don't
It's a
know.
very different thing.
Yeah, and I've had like a love-hate relationship with the Goofy movie, which is weird. Because I get into these stages where I get super empathetic about things. And there was one time I was watching the Goofy movie and I was in one of these super empathetic moods. And I couldn't watch the Goofy movie for years because I felt so bad for Goofy when he was trying to connect with Max with the soup. Like, for whatever reason, it like broke my heart. I couldn't, like, uh, I couldn't watch the Goofy movie for a while. Um, but then like rewatching it this time, I'm like, okay, Goofy, we're both okay. You're both not talking to each other. You're both in the wrong. But also like this all could have been solved if you would have said, "Hey, what happened at school today? I was thinking we'd go on a fishing trip. Does that work with you?" Because then he would have been said like could have told him, "Hey, actually, I have a date with this dream girl that I've been wanting for forever." And then like I think it's when
That is
they're
only tonight.
yeah.
It's not like, hey, we have to put this off for a month. It's like, hey, can we not do this
Leave
today?
tomorrow?
Can we leave tomorrow? Right? Like that's
Or
my
a week,
absolute
a week.
objection.
Or like make sure we're back for this.
Yeah, it's
Yeah. So yeah, honestly, it also dropped for me in my Goofy movie Thanks, because I
I'm
remember.
the only one.
Yeah, I
No.
mean, it's still very high, but
It dropped a little bit for you too.
yeah, it dropped a little bit because I would have said that like it was a 9, and then I'd say now it's like an 8 or a 7.9.
Wow.
So
Dropped like a full point for both of you. That's crazy.
yeah, it's just because like, but like I love the music, and like whenever I'm telling pizza, whenever I'm telling people how I like
Lauren's
pizza,
hungry, everybody. Get ready.
I'm so hungry. It's when he's like holding his pizza at the Neptune or whatever, and it's like folding because of the cheese. I'm like, that's how much I like cheese on my pizza. Um, but yeah, I didn't like how Goofy kept listening to Pete, um, and instead of like just talking to him, because like he's like, yeah, check the map, Goof, or whatever. And when he was like, okay, Max, are we going left or right? I was like, oh, I hated these tests, like when my parents would like test me for things, and I'm like, just freaking have a conversation with me. Don't test me and then be like, you failed, like how Goofy did when he pulled off to the side and threw a fit. I was like, no, talk to your son about being like, hey, so I noticed you changed the map. Like, let's talk about this. So yeah, that's why it went down a point. So
Interesting.
yeah.
So we had a topic last episode where I was talking about the fact that they should have had a conversation. Oh, that was this episode. Wow, this has been a long episode, guys. About how two people should have had a conversation earlier. And that's why I brought down a certain movie. And now I'm having the opposite effect where I'm like, isn't it realistic that parents totally do what's going on here?
I mean, it is realistic, but I think that should change.
That's fair. That's fair.
I think it's realistic in certain aspects, but not in total.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? Like, the fact that there is zero communication between Goofy and Max, it's like, yeah, that can happen, but then all of this other stuff is also not going to happen. But the fact that Goofy and Max keep having all of these things, and like, I don't mind a miscommunication trope. Um, I know Lauren really has a problem with it, but like, this one's not a miscommunication. It's a non-communication. It is a zero effort of communication of whatever kind, of any kind, and it's Goofy saying, "You're going with me right here, right now. You weren't planning on it. We're going, and we're only going to go do things I like."
Where I'm not even planning this around what you like. I'm planning it around the trip that
I
me and my
didn't
dad
think
took.
about you at all. It's just like I had this trip with my dad as a kid, and I bet if you rewound the clock and you looked at Goofy's and his dad's trip, his dad said, "Hey, do you want to go fishing this weekend?" And not get in the car the second you get home from school. We're going because your principal called and my boss told me that you're a delinquent.
And it might have been that the dad did say this is what we're doing, but Goofy could have been more into that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it could. Well, it was probably
Yeah,
planned out, and so it wasn't a last minute.
it was 100% planned out. Like a week
Yeah,
long trip across the country, I would wager it was planned.
because like I can see both sides. I can see like Goofy like panicking as a single parent, being like, "What am I doing wrong with my kid? I need to show him how like my dad raised me." And but once again, he's not thinking about what Max likes or anything, and so it's like it just is him going off of that panic. I feel, but then he is kind of stubborn with it, especially like when they were like fiddling with the music. I got mad at Goofy. I was like, let Max listen to his music even if you don't like it. Like, let him just listen to it. It's not that bad. But
It's
then,
awesome music. It's so
and I
good.
and I could see the flip side of it too, of him being like, if he lets him do what he likes, he's letting him go down this dark road that he thinks he's going down. But once again, he just needed to communicate that, and then it wouldn't have been bad. So like I can see both sides, and that's why that one time that was super empathetic about everything. I was like, I can't watch this movie because I can see everybody's reasoning and I see everybody on both sides, and but I've only had like that reaction to two movies. I think Goofy movie and then like The Call of the Wild.
Really? That's wild.
So yeah, I don't know what brings this on, but it's like very intense, and then I can't watch it for years or ever again. But anywho, but we all still really like the Goofy movie.
Absolutely.
No hate.
For sure.
We're just seeing more things now.
We all have different backgrounds. We all have different things that stuck out to us. Like, I
That's
had
true.
zero expectation that Conlon would see the same thing I saw in how Goofy treated Max, when Conlon has a very good relationship with his father, and I don't. So the fact that I saw that, I knew for sure. Like, I don't think Conlon is wrong in what he thinks, even though that's what I said. It's just, we saw different things. We got different
And I can see where Josh is coming from. Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's like quite literally what this whole podcast is about. So
For sure. See, does that movie make the movie even better? Wow.
No,
you're right.
give
It's
it
a
a
10
this
now.
podcast better.
It is.
Makes this podcast better. But yeah, it's just like it's so interesting how your backgrounds can influence what you see in something. And with that, hopefully you guys are watching stuff that influences your life for the better. And have a good week. Bye.
See you guys.